Okay, so this example may not work for you. If so, you may need to add a print command just because of um, the way that the shell may be handling handling output. So um, in these interactive environments like the Python or Jupyter, Python or IPython shell or the Jupyter notebook, typically if you if you type a command that will return some value, it will print it to the screen. Whereas in a Python script, the only time it will print something to the screen is if you actually say print. Otherwise, it just stays inside the program. It doesn't actually print to your screen. So, but there might be some exceptions. So, I'm just gonna. I think I'll just for these next few examples, I'll just actually we'll do this. So we have the dictionary constructor. So this allows us to pass. So just like when we used this items method, we got these key value pairs as tuples. We can input that to this dict function. So we're basically passing the same kind of thing to it, and it will return a dictionary. So we could do D equals this, and now D has these values. So there's another way to store a dictionary. Yet another way is using a list comprehension. So this is pretty cool. You can do x colon x squared for x in this tuple, and it's going to generate. This will be the key, and this will be the value for each of these three keys. So this is a different take on the list comprehension, and so this just generates a dictionary that has keys and values according to this list comprehension. Another kind of handy way, there's a lot of ways to make dictionaries, as you can see. Another way is to have a key equals value relationship using equal signs, and this will do the same thing. So you get just another way to link these two things. Remember, we also saw the zip operator, which you can wrap in a dict command. So in earlier versions of Python, in Python 3, typically dictionaries will be in order that you enter them, but it's not guaranteed to be the case. If it's really important that your dictionary is in a special order, that you can't just rely on using the keys to look up the values, you can use what's called an ordered dictionary or an ordered dict. And so there's different ways to iterate through a list. So you can do something like this, where you have, let's see what happens in Python 2. Yeah, so in Python 2, I entered this dictionary in a particular order, but when I actually then look at what it was stored as, it's not in order. In Python 3, it should be in order, but it's not guaranteed to be stored that way all the time. So what I can do is I can make this list. I'm going to make this list called sorted keys, which is going to be the keys of dictionary D. Now, right now, it's not ordered. It's still in the order that I gave it. But if I use this sort method, which is for lists, because this is a list, now the keys are sorted, and I can do something like this, where I can say for key in this list of sorted keys, and then I can print the key. Now I print this little arrow that signifies it's a key value relationship, and then I can get the value associated with that key. So this is an example of how you would go through your dictionary, even if it was unordered, in an ordered way. Um, there's another way that's listed here where you can use this function called sorted on the dictionary, which will give you the sorted keys. It's the same idea. But if having the dictionary explicitly ordered is important, and perhaps maybe you're unsure if you'll be using Python 2 or 3, or someone else will be using your code maybe in Python 2, you can import this ordered dictionary. So you do from collections import ordered dict, and then you can create this dictionary which is now, as opposed to D, which was just a regular dictionary, this is called an ordered dict, and it will explicitly have an order. Okay, I think that's enough about that. It's not as much of an issue in Python 3. Looping techniques. So we've covered a few things. I just wanted to go over a little bit more here. We have this enumerate function, which does something cool in that it will return a tuple that contains the index and the value from a list. So we can say for I, comma v. So this is basically taking the tuple that's returned by this function and splitting it into two different things. In fact, I'll show you how. I'll make that obvious in a second. So I'm going to print, and it's going to print these two values. But I think if I just do, if we change this to a T for tuple, yeah, you get the same output because we're effectively not splitting these two things. Another way we could do this other command to show you how this works is we could do something like this. We can say so remember we have different ways of formatting strings. I'm going to use the old school way since I'm using Python 2, but we can print these two values like this. So this is just to show you that we don't have to return them as a tuple. They can be returned as they're actually being returned as individual values that we can then use in a string, for example. There's an example here with zip. So we can store two lists. And then say we can zip those two things together, and we can then loop over that zip object. And it will then give us, will return a tuple that we can then print and format. So just to show you quickly here. So this is related to like a dictionary, but just a different way of kind of showing the relationship between these two lists. And of course we can make a dictionary from that zipped set of lists, or these can also be tuples. As long as they're the same length, this will work. If we wanted to loop over a range in reverse, we can do this. Just some little hacks here. I'm gonna, for the interest of time, I'm gonna skip through these, but you can follow along with these after class. I will just review list comprehensions here because this is, again, super useful. So when we wanted to do it in like a traditional computing way, we're using, we have to use initialize the list and then loop over that, or do a for loop over that, all the entries we want to create this new list. Whereas with the list comprehension, we can simply do it in a single command with this for construct inside a set of brackets, and we'll generate a new list. Again, we've seen some of these. Okay, I'm going to skip over this. Okay, so what I wanted to do next is walk you through an example script. So I'm going to pause the video for a second and then we'll resume.